Okay, so here is some news. The Dow Jones recently hit over 25,000 points. Now, all of the pro Donald Trump Fox News people took to their Twitter accounts and therefore responded with essentially, you see, Donald Trump's being great for the economy. It's working, guys. There have been 70 stock market highs. They never link a source for that, by the way. What do they never tell you? Well, here are some facts. One, over 80% of stocks are owned by the top 10%. Two, 40% of stocks are owned by the top 1%. Three, income inequality is at the highest it has been in a very long time. So essentially, when they're saying it's at top 25,000 points, that means that if you're wealthy, you're probably doing good. If you're poor, sucks to be you. Now, granted, the entire media has been pushing this narrative for years. You can turn on CNN and see how the Dow Jones is doing, but you cannot see median family income or current employment rate. I wonder why that is. But even if the Dow Jones is at 25,000 points, and that's going to be permanent, and growth is going to go on, and that represents the middle class and the lower class, the fact is we're just in a bubble right now then. And let me tell you why. Because I want you all to look at some facts. Just before the Great Depression, income inequality was at 24%. The top 1% had 24% of the nation's income. Just before the crash of '08, it was at the same amount, 24%. We're currently hovering around that amount right now. And you know what happens? Well, it's one of those great boom-bust cycles capitalists seem to love. Or at the very least, the rich seem to love. Because that's how this economy works. And it's how it worked ever since Reagan, who also was busy stagnating wages. Yeah, that's another thing. Wages have not increased since the 1980s. But go tell me how the 25,000 point Dow is going to prove to me that homelessness no longer exists or something. Or tell me how those tax cuts that are only permanent for the rich are going to somehow trickle down to the rest of us. We should have laughed you out of the room in 1981, I know. But unfortunately we didn't, so we'll just have to do it now. Anyway, that's it. I'm Ephrom, and good night.